Some might argue that bass actually is the foundation of music and not cowbell, as I stated in a previous video. And wherever your priorities lie, today we will take a deep dive into bass in live music. Let's go. So most of the tours and shows I do are on in-house PA systems, meaning that I have a new PA and a new venue every day. And what I find is, after tuning the PA, most of the instruments sound roughly the same from day to day, and the exception is bass. I find that the bass sounds widely different from day to day, from venue to venue. So let's take a deep dive into the toolbox and see how to combat all of this. Now, mind you, all of these sounds are made for big PA systems, not for your headphones. So pay attention to the techniques rather than the sound coming out of your iPhone. Alright, so the first example here is a bass player with just a pedal board and there's no amp. All of the bass sound are tweaked in the pedal board. So I don't want to mess around too much with the tone. I want to keep the integrity of the tone coming from the bass player, but still have it work with all of the other instruments and with the venue that we're in today. So this is the bass sound we used for this tour, and as you can see, there's an EQ and there's a compressor, and that's basically it for the bass sound. So first of all, there's a high-pass filter, and in this case it's set to 50 Hertz, and the reason is really because the last venue we played in, 50 was the kind of sweet spot for this bass. So this high-pass filter, it will vary quite a lot depending on the venue. And I would say it will end up probably somewhere around or between 40 and maybe up to 70. And the slope is, well, my kind of default is 12 dB per octave. But I find that indoors, maybe I will go up to 18, and outdoors I might go down to 6, because outdoors I don't have any walls. I don't have the room to kind of work against me, so I can be a bit gentle with the slope. Indoors sometimes it's more about damage control, so then I might even go up to well, not 24, but at least 18. So the high-pass filter is totally venue dependent. Then we have the sidechain filter, and I know some argue that you don't need to sidechain the bass to the kick drum. Most of the time I do, because, well, I like it. So I use the external sidechain and have the kick drum as the source for the sidechain. So whenever the kick drum hits, this EQ band will drop the bass frequencies, well, up to 14 dBs. It will never go down that far. It will be probably 5 to 8 dBs of gain reduction in the bass frequencies, leaving the rest of the bass tone untouched. The other two filters, number 3 and number 4, is just kind of EQ to taste to make it fit in with the rest of the music. And then I use a low-cut filter to just get rid of some hiss and noise. So actually, let's have a listen. Let's turn off the compressor for now, and let's actually turn off this EQ so we can listen before and after. So in my headphones, it almost sounds better without the EQ, because I've removed so much of the low end. But in a big PA system, all of that low end will just build up the room, so it would make no sense to have that much low end. And as I said, all of this is made for a big PA system where you kind of need to clean up the low end. And with a rhythmic bass like this, I like a compressor with a kind of slow attack. And I find that this CLA 3A kind of lets through the rhythmic part of the bass while keeping the volume kind of consistent. So let's have a listen before and after. And let's have a listen with the kick drum as well, and then I will turn all of this on and off, so we will hear kind of what both the EQ and the compressor are doing. So as you can hear, even with these small changes, the bass kind of pops out, but still having the kick punch through as well. So for this bass player, this is really all I had to do. But let's have a listen at something completely different. All right, so in this example, again, we only have a pedal board, no amp, but we are going for a bit of a more rock sound. So this bass will sit beneath two electric guitars. So I really want this bass to be a solid foundation for the rest of the band. So I don't mind getting a bit dirty here. All right, so just a minute ago I said that the high-pass filter will end up somewhere between 40 and 70, and well, here we are at 35, so as I said, the high-pass filter will end up somewhere around 35 and 70, in this case 35. And again, we have the first band of the EQ with some external sidechain, again from the kick. Then again, adding a bit of mid to really bring out the string noise, and then removing all of the hiss and dirt in the high end. So the EQ will just kind of tidy up things, get rid of things we don't need, and just some tone shaping. But it's in the compression where the actual magic happens. So with this bass, I wanted some aggression, some dirt to it, and the CLA 76 is actually perfect for this one. So I used the slowest attack, and this is still a really fast attack. And then I have quite fast release. And with this one, I find, especially on bass, that we're not supposed to really pay attention too much to the gain reduction, because it will look like it's going crazy. And well, in a way it is really going crazy, but it's when we really dig into like 8 or 10 dBs of gain reduction that this compressor really starts to sing. So let's turn off both of these and have a listen before and after. So with the 1176, you really get this grit and dirty bass tone that I find works really well for especially rock music. And actually, let's have a listen to this compressor and see what it sounds like if you run it, well, too nicely, if you're not being as aggressive as I am right now. So let's switch to the B setup, and this is kind of a more normal approach to compression with just a few dBs of compression, and I will flip back and forth between this one and the setting that I actually use. So with the more aggressive setting, you really get the dirt and the kind of harmonic distortion that I find is perfect for this kind of music. Right, so in this example we have a bass DI, and we have also an amp up on stage with a microphone. Both of these go into the bass group. So let's just have a quick listen on how both of these sound. And then the mic. So in a case like this, I start with cleaning up each input, and in this case the DI, I will mainly use this for the low end part of the signal, and the mic I will use for the mid and highs. So let's engage this EQ, and again we have a high pass filter, this time at 40, and then I remove kind of all of the top end. So here's before and after. And again, you can see that the low end is sidechained to the kick. And let's have a listen at the mic. And here I really need to remove all of the top end to get rid of some stage noise. And the high pass filter in this case is set at around 100 Hertz, but with a gentle slope. And this in fact was recorded, this is an outside show. So, well, as I said earlier, with outside shows I kind of often use a more gentle slope with the high pass filter. Now, with one instrument coming from two sources, we really need to pay attention to the phase. So what you can do on any console is to just flip the polarity. And let's have a listen to see what happens when we flip the polarity of the DI. So as you can hear, when we flip the polarity, we get much more low end. Normally, that's what you want, but with the LV1, we can actually take things a bit further. So we can use the in-phase plugin. And with the in-phase plugin, we don't need to pick either in or out of polarity. We can use the delay to have kind of a variable polarity, if you will, or well, just time align the two signals to work the best with each other. So let's mess around with this. And as you can hear, the tone varies widely when applying delay to the DI signal. So with this, you can really tailor the tone to get it exactly where you want it. So the in-phase plugin and the EQ on each channel are really meant for getting rid of everything that I don't want, and these then get summed into the bass group, and here is where I actually tailor the bass sound. So in this case, I'm not sure why I started with the compressor and have the EQ after. Normally I use it the other way around, but for some reason this is what worked best for this bass player. And again, the slowest attack, and I don't think I have as much gain reduction on this as in the previous example, because the signal is kind of dirty already. So let's have a listen before and after with this compressor. This is more like keeping the level of the bass consistent rather than giving it this grit and dirt as in the previous example. So this feeds into an F6 where I kind of just remove a bit of 250 that I thought was a bit too much, and adding a bit of low end at right about 50 or 60 or so. So this is before and after with the EQ. So this is the bass tone I used for this tour, and the sound is really tailored for the big PA systems where you have subs for days. So there are plenty of low end, even if on headphones you might not hear all of that low end. However, if you're mixing on a PA system with not a lot of subs and you kind of need more low end, there's a trick to trick the ear to think that the bass has more low end than it really does, and it's the R bass. What this does is kind of, I'm not really sure. I think it kind of adds harmonics to the fundamental bass note. I'm not going to get too deep into this because I will get in trouble, but let's just have a listen before and after with this, and you can hear that the perception is that it's a lot more bass. So this is a great trick if you don't have, if you don't have enough subs. You can use this one to kind of fool the ear to think that you have enough subs. All right, that's enough about bass. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.